Video games are awesome. Star Wars is infinitely awesome, so mixing these two together is a winning combo, and while we have seen some awesome Star Wars games over the years, many have failed to see the light of day. Sadly, most of these won't ever be worked on again due to their storylines no longer being canon. However, with E3 just around the corner, a lot of people have been speculating and hoping there will be a few announcements about the revival of some potentially awesome Star Wars interactive adventures. So with that in mind, let's look at the top 10 cancelled Star Wars games. Number 10. First Assault. A downloadable title set for 2013 would have preceded the forever gestating Star Wars Battlefront 3, giving players the opportunity to engage opponents in iconic Star Wars environments. First Assault leaked footage looked amazing, having fast and intuitive gameplay. It's very frustrating to see such a polished game get canned due to LucasArts liquidation, plus it would have filled the void until Battlefront's release. Number 9. Episode 7 Shadows of the Sith. When Disney purchased Lucasfilm in 2013, LucasArts wasn't immediately dissolved. Instead, the studio decided to focus their efforts on a new game to coincide with the 7th Star Wars film. Already adept in making good titles that followed the events of the original trilogy, Shadows of the Sith looked to bear all the hallmarks of a classic Star Wars adventure, with many of the old cast members and characters making an appearance at some point. In addition, it had the chance to construct a new expanded universe, meaning there were countless story opportunities. Number 8. Smuggler. In Smuggler, players took on the persona of a smuggler. I know it sounds far-fetched, but stay with me here. Taking place during the Empire's reign, players would have had to utilise skills such as stealth and piloting, making it very different to the usual lightsaber or blaster gameplay. It was said to introduce a number of new mechanics for Star Wars games, like the ability to customise your own character and crew, embark on missions of your own choosing, and buy and sell products with other players and traders. Smuggler reached a conceptual stage in 2004, but was unfortunately canned in the following year. Number 7. Rebel Warrior. Okay, this one's a bit more out there compared to the others, but it still sounds pretty cool. Rebel Warrior was a project centred around the experience of a Wookiee during the early days of the Empire's enslavement of the race. The player would have had to use many violent measures to wreak havoc amongst the Imperial ranks. I guess the maturity and violent nature of this title was its own undoing, but it would have been nice to explore the darker elements of the galaxy far, far away. Number 6. Jedi Knight 3 Brink of Darkness. The Jedi Knight series was fondly remembered by Star Wars fans as being one of, if not the best, games released by LucasArts. The Jedi Knight series made fans truly feel like a Jedi in ways other titles could not. Furthermore, using the Quake 3 engine, they were renowned for their narrative and immersive gameplay. So to hear that the third installment was cancelled in its initial conceptual phase of development was a big blow to us gamers, and it was surprising considering how critically and commercially successful the other two installments were. Sadly, we'll never be able to once more fill the shoes of Kyle Katarn in a post-episode 6 setting. Number 5. Darth Maul. Darth Maul is one of the greatest Sith of all time. I mean, just look at how badass he is. So this scrap game makes me want to cry a lot. Initially conceived as being somewhat of an origin story for the Sith assassin, studio interference eventually shifted the title's narrative to coincide with Maul's return in the Clone Wars animated series, filling the gap between his, the whole getting cut in half ordeal at the hands of Obi-Wan and the Battle of Geonosis. Maul is shrouded in mystery, meaning the chance to explore his character's lore would have been great, and who wouldn't want to indulge in some double-bladed lightsaber gameplay. Number 4. Imperial Commando. Star Wars Republic Commando, released in 2005, was a surprise hit that placed players underneath the armour of the Republic's finest soldiers in a squad-based tactics environment. So it's a wonder how the sequel, Imperial Commando, was never released. It managed to reach a conceptual stage within LucasArts and pitted players back in the shoes of Delta Squad's leader during Order 66, as the team tracked down the remnants of the Jedi Order. With the gameplay of Republic Commando and the morally ambiguous tale of the psychological toll on the clones once loyal to the Republic mixed together, the game would have undoubtedly been amazing. Plus, what happened to Sev? Maybe we would have found out. Number 3. Rogue Squadron X-Wing vs TIE Fighter. The Rogue Squadron series was amazing, and in 2008 it was ready to make the jump to next-gen consoles. Originally proposed as a remaster of the original Rogue Squadron trilogy, the developers over at Factor 5 also wished to pursue a fully fledged next-gen release incorporating an online component, both co-op and competitive. Unfortunately, due to Factor 5's financial troubles after the 2008 banking crisis, damn you bankers, both projects were cancelled. Although desperate attempts were made to bring the release to the Wii, nothing materialised. However, a much stripped down mould of the game went on to become the PlayStation exclusive Lair. Number 2. Knights of the Old Republic Free. Remember how awesome KOTOR 1 was, how highly praised the adaptation was, how it still ranks as one of the greatest RPGs to have graced both consoles and computers, and how even after a somewhat disappointing sequel, the third installment still had a memento demand? We all remember those things, but sadly, Obsidian do not. For some reason, not even known by LucasArts employees, the title reached the conceptual stage of development and then just wasn't pushed any further. Not only is the mystery surprising due to the successes of both KOTOR 1 and 2, but the majority of KOTOR 3's groundwork had been laid, including the story and class types. Let's just call this one a huge blunder. Number 1. 1313. This is easily the most infamous title to have been canned since Star Wars 1313 had it all. Springboarding from an incredible debut at E3 2013, leaked concept art showed that Boba Fett was going to be the main character, taking us through his rise to power as the galaxy's deadliest bounty hunter. How cool would that have been? What's more, gameplay would have centred around an area we've never really seen before, Coruscant's underworld. Just like the Darth Maul game, Fett is one of the greatest yet mysterious Star Wars characters ever, so fans would have loved to have played as him in a murkier and more criminalised take on the Star Wars universe. Although every other title in this list would have been awesome to play, 1313 is by far the game I want to see brought back the most from development hell. E3 2016, I'm looking at you. Making just a top 10 list of cancelled Star Wars games was a tough task, since there are at least 15 other titles that were also cancelled. Unfortunately, there isn't much information on the others. It's just like when a UFO crashes somewhere. What UFO? The one that's clearly behind you, like just turn around and you'll see it. Nothing to see here, move along. But it's right there. Nope, but nothing there. Nope, can't see anything. But mate, there's an actual alien coming out of the crap. Aliens don't exist. This guy, he's a joker. Then why are the men in black tasering it? Look punk, UFOs don't bloody exist, alright? Have a nice day. What was that all about? Anyway, here are some of those cancelled games, some of which are a bit ambiguous, but we can probably guess at the contents of the others, like Han Solo, Darth Vader, and Rebel Scum, the latter of which just being the Star Wars Battlefront 2 voiceover guy.
You rebel scum.
Yeah, that would have been an amazing game. So there are the top 10 cancelled Star Wars games. Let me know what title you wished wasn't canned. Thanks for watching, and for more Star Wars top 10s, keep it locked here to the King's Hand. The 501st Legion essentially won the battle before it began, since their soldiers were far more experienced. Unwilling to lose the main source for producing the Fett clones, samples of Jango Fett's blood, the Empire's first objective was to extract a container of Fett's DNA.